with the intro powered podcast. And if you guys get a chance to hop on live or we'll check this out later, so glad you did. We are the intro powered. Let me pull up what we are. I want to say it right. See, the intro powered tribe is important. And I was just listening to a podcast earlier about the importance of not only dealing with burnout, but let me first say, I'm gonna get to it. I'm jumping all around, but hang on, let's see. We are, here we go. Intro powered, we are powered by our no. We are recharged with kindness. And what's the last one here? We are propelled by our life's magnet. I should have this memorized, but I'm gonna get there. But this is the goal of the intro powered tribe, is to develop and to build a community around these three things where we're powered by our no, which makes room for our bigger yes. We are recharged with kindness. And it's a stark difference between kindness and being nice. Okay. Then we are propelled by our life's magnet. What's our life magnet? Is our spiritual gift. Okay. I believe our purpose is our purpose is the combination of these three: our gifting, our character, and our passion. Those three. But a lot of us know what we're passionate about, and we're developing character, but we don't know what our gift is. And to me, the gift is what wakes you up on Monday morning and what you get excited about, that connects with your passion. But all these need to be connected and going together to identify what your purpose is. And the intro powered tribe is where we develop those three things together, where we give permission for you to live and operate in your gift while addressing character challenges. Burnout is a character challenge that it's outward, where it impacts us outwardly, but we must address it inwardly. Okay. And there's things that we need to develop. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you, bro. All right. So we're going to jump in, but let me start here. I got my notes up here. I got a lot going on, but I wanted to start it with, I need y'all to understand that burnout is a legitimate, real, medical diagnosis, per the World Health Organization. This happened in November of 2021. If you look it up online, you will see that burnout is on the same page and on the same level of anxiety and depression. They're on the same page. It's even in the DSM. Some of y'all therapists and counselors know what the DSM is. This is important, that we understand that we cannot take burnout for granted. We cannot overestimate and underestimate the impact of what burnout does. Okay. And a lot of times, and those of us that may be introverted, right? We tend to, like being in the background, make a lot of waves, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm telling you, we need to not only see burnout coming, but we must fight it at all cost. And this is because we're being too nice. And if you hear me long enough, you'll know that I don't even want us to even mention the word nice as it relates to people. Things are nice. Like, I got a nice Apple Watch. I got a cool band here. I love it. I use it every day. Those things are nice, but I want people to be considered kind. Now, see, when we start talking about kindness, it deals with character, right? And see, being nice is usually transactional, because a lot of times we're doing things with the ulterior motive, with hoping that so-and-so will see me, so-and-so will acknowledge me, so-and-so will remember what I did for them and eventually take it later. There's the, an emotional bank account that you can have with friends and with individuals. But kindness is transformational, where you're not expecting anything in return. You're doing it out of the kindness, out of your own heart. That's what kindness is all about. Okay. But tonight we're talking about burnout. And if y'all been watching me or following me online for a minute, you'll know that burnout has been one of my, not only something that I've experienced personally, but that I believe that it's time for us to address as a nation, because we're coming out of this pandemic. Okay, they've dropped the mask mandate in certain places on airplanes, etc. But I believe that there is a significant level of burnout, especially for those that are on the front lines. You know who you are. We got my doctors, my nurses, my social workers, my therapists, teachers, and the list goes on, that you all have been working overtime, and now things are starting to finally pan out, kind of calm down. It's kind of, I'm getting that vibe, but that doesn't mean that the emotional and physical impact has not been had. And some of us are burnt out right now, and we think that we're going to continue to drag it on and kind of ignore it and not really want to deal with it and think it's just going to go away. That's myth number one. And we're going to be, tonight's topic is talking about myths, myths about burnout. Myths are things that people have assumed to be true for so long that it's become part of, normal everyday circumstances, and almost even impacting our society. But when you start really pulling the cord, that it starts to unravel. So we're going to be talking about myths as relates to burnout. And if anybody has any comments, anything you want to add, please drop it in the comment. Myths that you've come to believe and you think they are true. Okay, but let me break down what burnout is first. Let's go with burnout. Let's talk about what burnout is, and then we're going to jump in and attack these. And I'm on Psychology Today. They have a great article, but there's so many articles out there that are talking about what burnout is. All right. What's up, Pedro? I see you, brother. Listen. Okay, burnout. Let me read it here from psychologytoday.com. It says that you hear this. Burnout is, now it says it people believe that burnout is only another myth. See, these are all myths that we're going to be talking about tonight. Burnout is not only, it might have manifested itself and has become popular as regards to work. But that's not only where burnout is true. Two things or more can be true at the same time. You could be burned out from work, but you could also, some of us are caregivers. We have older parents, or we have, someone in our family that's sick that we're ministering to. We're helping support them. We're taking care of the house and paying bills and feeding them and all these different things. Heavy lifting. These are also places where burnout can occur, not just at work. Okay. So burnout is related, also family related, emotional related, relationship related, right? Process of chronic stress. That means it's ongoing. It doesn't begin and end. Our bodies are built to handle spikes of stress with the adrenaline and the cortisol that our body releases, so that if we have to, God forbid, a tiger gets loose, we can run from the tiger and get to safety, and then our body will know, okay, you're safe. The tiger can't harm you. You can calm down. But the problem with burnout is that it's chronic, and that stress level stays elevated, and sometimes it keeps going, or it plateaus, but it never decreases. So it's chronic stress where it's chronic stress that has not been managed properly. That means our bodies don't know it's time to calm down. And what happens is we go to the same place, usually work, or we're in the same relationship, or we're in a caretaking position, therapists, social workers, all these folks, frontline workers, those who are in the caregiving professions. We go day after day, week after week, month after month, dealing with, what's up, Mike? I see you, bro. We need to address burnout. And I'm on this what do you call those? Soapbox. Here we go. I'm on this soapbox, y'all. And I know in my church, and I believe in the health message, or we call it that we believe that we need to take care of our bodies. We need to eat healthy. We need to drink water. We need to get sleep. All these different things, right? The New Start breakdown, and it breaks it down. Each one has an acronym of what it is. I haven't memorized it, but we get it. I believe stress needs to be on there. Stress needs to be addressed in the health message. The health message is incomplete, in my opinion, without addressing and speaking on specifically burnout, anxiety, depression, all of those things. We must address those things. We cannot be silent anymore, because as the world comes out of this pandemic, the church needs to be ready and able with resources at minimal to help the membership deal in the community. I mean, I can't think of a better way to evangelize the community when we address the specific needs of what it's all going through. Our planet is in a burnout space, and not only burnout, but they're dealing with anxiety. They're dealing with depression. All kind of things have gone on during the pandemic, and we've had a pandemic, and life continued on. That means we've lost loved ones. Some of us have lost jobs due to the COVID-19. All of these things have been going on, right? So we have to, again, not assume and think that, okay, well, we could just pray it away. Prayer is important, and I believe in prayer. I pray every single day, and I would encourage you to do it. But prayer and action. Prayer and action. God believe, and if those of us who are Bible believers must believe and understand that faith without works is dead. Faith requires movement. So as we pray and as we are believing God is going to do it and answer our prayers, we are walking by faith, moving towards the solution. And as we move, God can open and close doors. That's what faith is all about. But we can't just sit and pray that I'm burnt out, but I need you to help me. And God hears our prayer, but he needs to know that we're willing to put one foot in front of the other in order to make that solution and the answer to his prayer become a reality, because God uses people to answer prayers. God uses situations to also answer prayers, but we must walk in it. So we're dealing with burnout. So burnout, myth number one, let's talk about burnout. So we know what burnout is. It's that chronic stress that goes unmanaged. Managed means I am responsible. You and I that are watching this are responsible to manage and address our burnout, our overall health, our thoughts, our opinions, our values, our political views. That's on us individually. That's for no one else to deal with. Where we need support is what the Bible calls burdens. That the Bible says in Galatians 6 verse 2, that we are to carry one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. That law represents support to going alongside someone who has experienced a significant life event, is what I call them. Life events. Again, loss of a job, loss of a relationship, loss of a spouse or a family member. These are life events that we need to go alongside. All other Bible, we should also go to verse 5, that we're to carry our own load. That word load represents a knapsack that each one of us needs to address and deal with our own selves. We need to have proper self-management, that we can handle our own selves. And I believe burnout, burnout is one of those that it's a health diagnosis, but we also need to take responsibility and go to spaces and individuals who are professionals to help us work through them. Okay. Now, myth number one, and I'm skipping through again. If y'all type in burnout and myths, you'll see tons of stuff here. So I wrote down some notes, and I'm looking on Psychology Today. They say, now this is significant. Oh man, here's a myth. A vacation or a day off will cure burnout. Man, I wish that was true. Now, I believe in taking days off. You need some time off. You're stressed and it's prolonged. Again, chronic, it's been going on. But the challenge is, this is why it's a myth that taking a vacation or taking a couple of days off, which I agree with, sometimes we need to step away and recalibrate and disconnect. But we can start doing that by when work is over, whenever I get off at 4:30. When my work is over, all the email notifications, the chat messages and DMs and all that is off. That's a little commercial. That's a little nugget that I'm tossing. I need y'all to understand that when work is over, You need to turn it off. Some of us, again, it becomes chronic because we never have a disconnect. We're working and we come home and we're still working. Some of us have been working at home virtually, and we've never set up boundaries, right? Allowances and limits is what I'm starting to call them, where we allow access to us during work hours, but then we limit when work hours are over. You're responsible, but you have to know there's certain things there's certain allowances that we need to include in our lives. I'm going to talk about that later, but there's certain limits, and it starts with limits. We got to have limits. We cannot be afraid to say no. Oh, I'm jumping ahead. Okay. Listen. Okay. So we already talked about, the medication cure burnout. No, it's not going to cure burnout. It won't. Sadly, it won't. The challenge is that we come back in the same culture, the same environment, the same things are going on. That's where it becomes a problem, because we leave and we come back and the situation is still there. That manager, that coworker, these expectations are still piling up on your desk. That's why that vacation might not necessarily solve the burnout. Now, vacations are helpful, and there's a statistic. There's a majority of individuals who go out through the year, even during the pandemic, who have never taken time off they've never taken time off or used their annual leave that their job gives them. See, some of us are so mad at the job but we don't take advantage of every single resource that is ours for the taking. Right there, and starting with taking leave. Some of us feel guilty. Oh, if I take off, then so-and-so won't have this. And so, no. 1,000 times no. Now, let me just put this caveat in here. When we work, we got to work. We have to work hard. We have to work wise. We have to be excellent at our jobs. The Bible says, whatever your hands touch, it should honor God. We should want to honor God with everything that we are responsible for and our name is attached to. Okay. The problem becomes that some of us, this is not everybody, but some of us kind of go half speed, I'll call it, at work. There's another half, I don't want to say that, but y'all know who you are. You get to work and you don't do the best of your ability, do the work to your best of your abilities. And somehow we still find ourselves burnt out. But now when we are needing time to recalibrate and, maybe to readdress our role and responsibilities, we're like, wow, you didn't even do this. See, we need to eliminate any question. When we step up and we start asking for things that we need to eliminate any of these potential that will slow us down from dealing with and addressing our burnout. All right. So let me go to my notes, and I'm not going to stay on long tonight, but I need us to understand what this is all about. Here's another myth. Burnout will go away eventually. Sadly, with our bodies, whatever we leave unaddressed only gets worse. Especially something negative, right? We are human beings. We need to be honest about what's going on with ourselves. And some of us, we push it away, and we use these toxic terms. A lot of men and men, especially men of color, have found that these toxic terms have kind of defined their masculinity, their manhood, quote unquote, man up, be a man, push through, etc. See, the problem is that when we really need to push through, there's a difference between being hurt or injured. I'll use the basketball analogy. I love NBA playoffs. I'm going for the Bucks. Hopefully they pull it out. I don't know. Boston's is really good. Either way, a player is either hurt or injured. NBA players are professional basketball players, right? And they get paid to play when they're hurt. There's a long season, and if Adam Silver ever watches this, we need to shorten or reconsider the 82 game season. That to me is too much, and we got our stars, the guys that we really want to sit and watch, and really excited to see. They're hurt, and they get you pay for tickets, and you go to the game, and all of a sudden you find out they're not there. That ain't right. They need to limit the amount of games. Either way, they play to play when they're hurt, but you cannot play when you're injured. Burnout is an emotional and mental injury. Just like the same way now, the world is finally catching up, and they're seeing that burnout is synonymous, per the World Health Organization that I looked up earlier, that is synonymous and equal on the same playing field as anxiety and depression. Some of us really know. What's up, Jamie? I see you. So we all know what anxiety and depression do to us. But when we leave anxiety unaddressed, when we leave depression unaddressed, and now I'm including burnout, when you leave burnout unaddressed, it will not just go away. It only will get worse. And my motto in life, and I want to put it up here, is that life will not get any easier. We need to get stronger. Life will not get any easier. And those of us who are Christ followers like I am, we need to stop waiting for Jesus to come back before everything gets better. Jesus said, in this world, you shall have tribulation. I could get on my soapbox. I could preach this all day. So we're not waiting for it to get better. We need to become more equipped on addressing it. And I love, I keep saying Under Armour. I keep saying, want to say Overarm. Under Armour's new motto, I love it. The only way is through. The only way is through. So we can't avoid it. We can't jump out of its way. We must be wise and intelligent and informed on dealing with burnout so that it will not continue to linger and manifest and then disappear and come back, disappear and come back. No. 1,000 times no. And it starts with our no. Your healing, your restoration, your ability to address burnout starts with our no. And I'm gonna get to that, but I'm gonna keep going here. What else I got on my notes? I'll rest when blank. This is a myth on burnout. You're burnt out, and you say, you know what? Okay, yeah, I'm burnt out. I'm seeing that I got chronic stress that I've left unmanaged. Okay, I'm gonna wait until spring break. I'm gonna wait until the summer. I'm gonna wait until someone that's on leave comes back. Let me tell y'all something. When we have burnout, again, with the same with anxiety and with depression, the longer we let it linger, it just gets stronger. We must address it when it happens. The second we recognize it, just like nowadays, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, man, if I got a sore throat or cough or anything, I'm grabbing some zinc, some vitamin C. I'm drinking that water. I'm whatever I do. I do not want to deal with anything synonymous with COVID, and I want to nip it right in the bud because I don't want it to catch on me. and some of us have been fighting this thing. But I need us to understand that if we are not addressing, and we cannot wait for some amount of time period in the future or the near future to be willing and say, you know what, I'll deal with this then. Okay, Jamie says, sometimes you have no more energy. Right. You become so again, see that when we recognize that, Jamie, when we get to that spot and we go on. See, this is where we mess around and end up in a space that Gretchen Rubin calls in her book, The Four Tendencies. She has a phrase that she's broken down. My wife and I have read it, and I would encourage you to read it. I don't love how she, obliger. I don't love, some of us are introverted. I don't love how she described that word. Bothers me. That's why I've developed intro power to kind of positive spin for those who may have the introverted tendency. But I like what she calls it, though, because what she calls it is obliger rebellion. I'm telling you, some of y'all know, some of us introverts know that eventually that we've been saying no when we've been saying yes, we really want to say no. We've been holding on too long, over and over. We saying yes, 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 I'm available. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll show up. Yes, I'll work extra. Yes, I'll stay late. When we really mean no. Again, taken away from our spouse, from our families. When we say yes to everybody else, that means that's less time for what's really important to us after, because some of us not even getting paid for staying. Okay. And I get it. We want to bless people, we want to support people, but I'm telling us we need to rethink what support looks like moving forward. We need to reconsider what's really helping and what's making it worse, especially starting with us. And when we go past our limits, when we go past our point of exhaustion, when we go past our point of tired, the body, and I saw something online today that if you don't choose the time where you're going to rest, your body will choose for you. It's going to shut down. Some of us are already there. Our body starts shutting down, and all of a sudden we become more susceptible to viruses. And then all of a sudden we get muscle spasms, we get headaches, we get stomach problems, ulcers, because we kept saying yes. We really mean no. We're burnt out and we don't speak up. This is unhealthy. It is unwise, and it's only going to get worse. Yeah. We can't enable bad behavior, and it takes courage. See, that's why we need. And one of the ways, I'm gonna just talk about it now. One of the ways, and I'm gonna talk about maybe one more because I don't want to go too long, y'all. But I want us to understand these myths on burnout. And see, we believe them so much, and some of us have attached religious connotations to them. I'm being faithful. I'm being faithful to the church. When I always show up, when I'm burnt out and I still show up, I'm being faithful to God. See, we're being nice because, again, nice is transactional. I do this for God, he's going to bless me. God doesn't work like that. Stop it. We can't be so religious that we start tying everything to being faithful to God. But we know we're burnt out. We're being dishonest. Saying yes, we really mean no. Then we're burnt out. And guess what's coming? Oblige rebellion. I love that phrase that Gretchen Rubin broke down, is that you eventually explode. And some of us church-going folks, eventually you're going to explode. And I believe the pandemic was a reprieve, a Selah, what today calls it. My wife, she calls it a Selah. I believe some church folk and ministry leaders, and I'll even say some of the folks that have been on the front lines, that have been dealing with the police injustice and the racial tension, that have been, standing up for people of color's rights, they have been burnt out. And I believe the pandemic finally got it to the point where folks can finally take a break, a forced break, because they've been burnt out. And the challenge is, when you're burnt out and you go on and you don't stop and you don't address it, the chronic stress. Again, stress is the body's reaction, physiological reaction to the stressor. The stressor might be, the inconsiderate driver that cut you off on the way to work. So Pedro, what'd you say? So when we at work, we don't say no, and then we burn out and we move from job. Oh my goodness, man. That sounds exhausting. Going from job to job is almost synonymous with moving from house to house. Anthony and I, when a couple years ago, we moved 4 times in 4 years. It was exhausting. I can't imagine doing it from job to job. But the challenge is, if your no doesn't travel with you to that next job, guess what's coming? Burnout. Let me keep going here. Let me read one more here. Feeling burnt out is normal. Myth. Just nobody would say anxiety is normal. Depression is normal. No, neither is burnout. We must address these things. We are human beings with challenges that must go address. We must address challenge. We must be responsible. responsible for addressing our human personal needs. Speaking up. I have an issue that I must address. Now you can determine how you say what you need, but don't wait until you're so disgusted and frustrated with people always asking you is that you explode, then the fussing and the cussing comes. I don't care how long in a church you keep saying yes when you should be saying no, the fussing and cussing is coming. And worse, that we might bottle up that fussing and cussing. We might bottle it up, but we say it in our head when we leave, and then when we see someone coming, we got all kind of bad words going on. Come on, y'all know what I'm talking about. We got all kind of bad words going on in our head and statements about them. But when we see them, we smile. We have got to speak up and deal with our burnout. We've got to deal with it. We have to be honest. I mean, if nothing else, we got to be honest. I don't care if you join the community or not, you buy my book or not, I don't care nothing about that. We got to be honest. I'm talking about Christ followers, church folk. We need to be honest. Say no when you want to say no. Don't see. Then we get religious. Let me pray about it. You already know it's a no, and God already told you it was a no, but you said, let me pray about it. See, the challenge is that when we linger and when we don't say no, we don't give that other person asking more time to go and find another solution. That's being kind. When we're clear, kindness is clarity, y'all. But we pretending and and now see. This is why, you can say no with integrity, and you can say something like, okay, let me check my calendar, because we've got a calendar that's organized. Shout out to the Full Focus Planner. That's my planner that I use. Got my Peloton stuff on there. Okay. We got to be organized. So when we say no, we're saying it with integrity. Saying no with integrity is the best feeling in the world. Saying no with a smile. Oh, I got some stuff covered for y'all. I need us to understand and get there. It's an awesome place to be because there's no more guilt. Then see, the guilt thing, I did something wrong. Then the shame jumps on top of that and says, I'm wrong. I take the shame on of saying no. That's why we got to say yes. To say no, we have to have a bigger yes. To say no, we have to have a bigger yes. Let me end here. I'm already past 30, but again, so I'm gonna break these down later, and I'm gonna post some stuff. But listen, burnout is real. Again, the World Health Organization now recognizes burnout synonymous with anxiety and depression. All of those things we must address, right? And so, yeah, what's Jamie? What you talking about? Yep, working hard. Yep, doing great. You're having a great paying job. But then, see, again, so some of us, we think, oh, I'm making X amount, then I can afford to be working 60, 80, 90, 100 hours a week because I'm getting paid. But on the back end, your family looking at you crazy, your health is poor, and your attitude is negative. See, then obviously the burnout is that we become cynical and we disconnect emotionally from the work. We don't give it with passion, with excellence. Whatever our hands touch, we don't want to multiply it, and we want to do a great job so God will honor us. Boy, yeah. See, Jamie, you made the adjustment. See, you got married, got the little ones. Boom. Okay, priorities got to shift. But see, even in our 20s, see, the millennials now, they not on that. They are addressing these issues. We have to be honest moving forward about our burnout. Oh, man. Listen, y'all, I appreciate y'all hopping on and checking this out, talking about myths on burnout. They are real. We cannot underestimate the impact of what burnout will do to us if we leave it unmanaged. We have got to be responsible. We must be willing to speak our truth, speak the truth, say no. And when we say no with integrity, we can say no with a smile. Oh man, I need y'all to stay with me. I got some stuff coming. I'm building this community. And if you haven't already, follow me on the at Intro Powered. where we are powered by our no, where we could say we are energized with kindness and we are propelled by our life's magnet. I'm telling you all, this is it. And I got to include a line on there about how we are prioritizing our personal stewardship is what I'm calling it. Some of us, some church folk don't like anything self. So anything, even self-care, I know, I understand why, but I need us to understand. Oh, wow. Yeah. But yeah, listen, we have got to master our personal stewardship, prioritize our no, and make sure you're making space to address whether, and God forbid, but this is a reality for church folk: anxiety, depression, burnout. This is we come on. We can do this. God needs us to do this because we are out of position if we are dealing with these things or ignoring these things, and when God really needs us to step forward and to step in and to speak life into other individuals, but we're pretending like we're not burnt out, anxious, or depressed. See, again, we're being dishonest, and God can't use us when we're being dishonest. You all, thanks for checking it out, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Intro Power podcast. And if on kindfind.com, that's a new book. And man, I'm excited. And I appreciate you guys hopping on. Remember, what's my catchphrase? I got two. Talent may get you in the door, but kindness will take you to the top and sustain you there. You all have a great night. Take care. Okay, how do I end all this here? Here we go. Nope. Where's my end button? Okay. Y'all gonna see me end here. I ain't trying to be perfect, y'all. I'm just hopping out here and just doing it. All right. End.